Hey everyone, Dumonto in here. It's Wednesday at noon, and we're going to be talking about how to triple your sales using LinkedIn's Social Selling Index. And this is a really good topic because it's not understood that well, and there is debate over whether we should. Let me start over again. I just saw something come in on my screen. Sorry. Um, this is a really good topic because there's a debate about it. Some people feel that the social selling index isn't helpful. It doesn't mean much. I use it as a way to gauge how I'm doing and where I need to shore up. And I'm going to take you through that, and I think you're going to really understand it because it really does, in terms of promoting your brand and attracting more clients. The social selling index is a really good gauge of how active you are. So, but before we get to that, I wanted to revisit something I talked about a couple of weeks back, and that is my decision to take my business off of Facebook. We're setting up Kajabi as a private membership site, and so I'll be inviting everyone who is in the Facebook group to join us there. Um, the recent developments about Instagram's effect on young women as young as 11 years old, to increases depression and even suicidal ideation. If you think back to the age of 11 or 13, or in that general area, we all feel gawky and insecure. I mean, that's the age that it's the hardest. I can remember, being 16 and looking at fashion magazines and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm you know I'm really ugly. I don't look like those women. And that wasn't an unusual reaction. Fortunately, I had people around me who were able to put a stop in that, and just say, "Whoa, wait a second. Here's what's going on here." Um, but there is no kind of stop. There isn't a break on Instagram, and the research shows that they are affecting children younger and younger. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I'm not. This is a personal decision. I'm not looking at anyone else and their decisions. I still have friends on Facebook. I will continue to interact with them. I'm a member of some professional organizations that meet on Facebook. I will continue to do that. I just won't give them my business. So enough of that. Let's hold on a second. I want to go over here because you can't see questions real well when I'm live, but it looks like we're doing okay. So um, just a couple of housekeeping things. If this is your first time with me, please go above and give StreamYard permission to see your name. You don't have to. You can stay anonymous. It's just that if you want to ask me a question or you make a comment, when I'm sharing my screen, I won't be able to see it, but I will be able to when I come back. So that's enough of the housekeeping there. Let's talk about social selling. So hold on a second. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on just a minute. Okay. Now let's get this PowerPoint going, and we're up and away. Okay. All right. So today we're talking about how to triple your sales on LinkedIn with the social selling system. And LinkedIn has the, why aren't we progressing? There we go. Okay. So here's what we're going to talk about today. First of all, what is social selling? And secondly, why is it important? And I would assert that it's very important. Then we're going to talk about the 4 pillars of social selling in LinkedIn's social selling index. And then finally, I'm going to show you where that happens or where that fits in the lucrative LinkedIn client generator system. I apologize. My VAs are having a problem. They keep beeping me on Voxers. So that's why I got distracted a minute there. But I've turned it off so they can't do that. So what is social selling? And why is this so hard to advance? Okay, what is social selling? And why is that important to us? Well, and this, I took the definition from Christina Newberry on the Hootsuite blog. It meant the most, it seemed the most straightforward to me. So social selling is the art of using social media to find, connect with, and nurture sales prospects. And that's what I keep teaching you. If you're going to really be able to attract your ideal clients on LinkedIn, then you're going to have to develop a relationship with them. That's the most important piece. Now, there are ways to speed that up, and ways to slow it down depending on what it is that you're promoting. If you're trying to sell an item, or a product or a service that is less than $1,000, you can move more quickly. And if you're doing, there are a lot of ways you can go more quickly. And I've addressed that in some of my other broadcasts, and we'll talk a little bit more about it at the end. So what I want you to remember is that when you do social selling, you don't have to make cold calls. And that to me is that's enough right there. I hate cold calls. So why is social selling important? Well, number one, because it does allow you to build that relationship before they enter the decision stage of the buyer's journey. And we're going to look at that in a minute. It builds brand awareness because it ensures that your professional brand encourages your ideal clients to reach out to you. And I will be having another session on personal branding very soon. And then finally, your clients are already engaged in social selling. 72% are already using social media to conduct research before making a purchase. And if you're going to operate in the B2B world, you really have to be on LinkedIn to do this. It's a different kind of process than Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. And it's really, really important because 80% of those leads that come from in the B2B area come from LinkedIn. So yes, it's not as large a population, but it is the only platform that is totally devoted to business. And that's really what you want. Okay, this I talked about briefly before, but high ticket programs, and I'm talking 1,000 and over. Okay, 997 and over. People round up. So you can't do that just by posting it online. You really have to develop that trust with those potential clients before they're going to plunk down that kind of money. So this is really, really important. Okay, I mentioned the new buyer's journey. The new buyer's journey is similar to what we always thought of as the buyer's journey, which we talked about in terms of know, like, and trust. First, they know you, then they like you, and then they trust you enough to purchase from you. Well, it's still the same. It's still the same journey. It's just done a little bit differently because chances are very, very good that you're going to find your clients online. Okay, during the awareness stage, and that's the stage where your profile is perfect, and you're out there, letting people know who you are. And so that corresponds to this stage in your journey. During the buyer's journey, in that awareness stage where they are just becoming aware that they even have a problem, but they don't know exactly what it is. So I always think of this as, oh my gosh, it's Q4, it's quarter 4, and oh my gosh, I don't know what this problem is, but I'm not getting the revenue I was, in the second quarter or the third quarter. So what's going on? So they are just trying to define it then. And 19% of them want to talk to you during that stage because they're really trying to get a handle on what's going on. Now, in the second stage, consideration, they've defined that problem. They talked to somebody, they've defined the problem, and now they're looking for solutions. And during that stage, 69% of people in that stage want to talk to you. So, the decision stage, which is the third stage, is when, as it sounds, they're ready to make a decision. But look at this, only 20% want to connect with you during the decision stage. So if you ignore the awareness and consideration stages, you are going to be, number one, playing in the same pond with all your competitors because they all target people who are in that decision stage, instead of capitalizing on that 79% when nobody else is playing there. You're going to stand out. Your offers are going to stand out. Your ability to establish that vital level of trust that you need, you're missing out on that. So this is really important. If you're going to expand the number of leads you have and the number of clients you get, then you want to be connecting with people early in their journey. And if you can connect with them at that 19% where they're not even really clear on what it is, you could really shorten that relationship building time, right? So really take this to heart. This is one of the most important things I can show you. Now, let's look at how that applies to the 4 pillars of the social selling index. And the first of these is creating a professional brand. Now, those of you who know me know that I'm a master personal brand strategist and digital branding strategist. So this is huge with me. You really need to create your brand because by understanding that brand, number one, you can promote it all through your profile. So it's going to bring more people to you. Number two, every piece of content or interaction or joining clubs or whatever organizations. This is, all of this is for promoting your professional brand. And remember, when you are really clear on your brand, then you can tell people immediately what it is you do and who you do it for and what the outcome is. That's going to be right there on your profile, the first thing that they're going to check. So creating that professional brand is, in my opinion, the foundation of building your presence on LinkedIn. Secondly, finding the right people. And this is all about prospecting. To find the right people, number one, you need to know who they are, right? So we'll talk about that some more in a few minutes, but knowing who the right people are and finding them is an essential part of lead generation. You have to be able to, number one, define your niche. And niche is more narrow than target audience, but we're going to talk about that. So you have to be able to find people that are in your niche. You need to be able to drill down as you only can in LinkedIn to find them. So that's prospecting. And prospecting is really key in order to find those people and then to attract them in. Okay, then there's engage with insights. Now, this is the one that throws everyone. And it's taken a long time to figure this out because, people who are LinkedIn experts, we're writing to each other back and forth and going, what do you think engage with insights means, because it isn't about how many times you comment in a group. It isn't, although it can be. It can be. It isn't how often you put content out there. It isn't even how often you share information, although that certainly helps. The most important thing for engaging with insight is to find those people that you have on your list, the people that you're really trying to develop a relationship. Follow what they're doing, comment on it, like it, and yes, you can share it too. You know, that's engaging with insight, because they're going to start paying attention. You know, if you're commenting on what they're doing, they're going to start paying attention, even if you just like what they're doing. So this is huge. Engaging with insight also means responding to people and reaching out to them, and sending invitations and messages. But it really, as far as LinkedIn is concerned, it has to do with engaging those people that are your leads by sharing, liking, or by liking, commenting, and sharing their stuff. Their stuff. Okay. And then building strong relationships. Well, that's at the heart of it. LinkedIn is not a numbers game. Well, it is, but that's a dangerous half truth. Let me explain that. It will help you to have a larger network where, you have more opportunities to be introduced to people who are in your secondary network, or who are connections on the secondary level. And so it helps to get introduced to them and those kinds of things. And obviously, the bigger your network, the bigger potential pool you have for seeing your content. But the heart of the way that LinkedIn works, in fact, the heart of the way that really most of the social platforms work. Now, I'm not active on all of them, but the way that they work is through building relationships. So, you wouldn't, if you were networking in person, you wouldn't be, constantly pummeling people with information and talking and talking and talking, and not trying to build that relationship and understand who they are, right? You've made an introduction when you connect with somebody, when you invite somebody to connect, but your work's not over. You need to nurture them until you can get them off the platform and into a sales conversation. And that's the advantage of social selling. Okay, now I'm going to take this and kind of draw it into where it falls in the lucrative LinkedIn client generator model. And then I'm going to go through and just show you exactly what's in the social selling index. So when we talk about generating clients on LinkedIn, we're not just talking about developing high quality leads. That's a huge part of it. And that's what most people want when they start talking about lead generation. But I don't want you to lose I don't want you to lose vision, or lose the concentration that you need to put in on converting those leads to clients. Because let's face it, leads aren't going to be able to, leads don't put food on your table. Clients do, right? Clients pay you, and then you have revenue, and then you can eat. So don't lose track of that. It's extremely important. And that's why I talk about attracting high quality leads and converting them to clients, because that's really important. Okay, so in the first part of this, you're going to get very clear on your goals. You're going to base that on your business goals, okay? You're going to get clear about your niche. Now, almost always that's hard for us because of two reasons. One, we don't want to eliminate anybody from the pool of who can come in. And that's a big mistake, because when you're talking to everyone, you're really talking to no one, because nobody's going to pay any attention. But it's also hard because in order to really understand your niche, you need to do some research and get out there and call some potential people and get them set up. And a friend of mine is doing that right now. And I suggested to her that that she add me, and then she could go through, filter my contacts to find those that were in her target market, and then I could introduce her. So that's where those second connections come in really handy, because she knows me and now I can introduce her to people. So that's really important. But if you're having a hard time getting down to your niche, think about your target audience first. You can narrow it down as you go on. Who are you trying to attract? If we go in just a very general area with my target audience, it would be coaches, consultants, and professional service providers who operate in the B2B arena. I call it a sandbox, but anyway, you get the picture. So if you can't get down to, what's their age and how much do they earn a year and blah, 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 then at least figure out your target audience. Okay, and then you're going to get really clear on your brand. And those of you who have watched my brand or personal branding live streams in the past, I'll be offering that again. And in a minute, I'm going to talk to you about another opportunity you have to do all this. Okay, awareness is the second stage. And awareness is all about what I think of as client attraction. It combines inbound marketing with outbound marketing. Client attraction, which you could think of as a pull technique, pull strategy to pull people to your profile, because that's where they're going to leap off to do those sales conversations. Or it's content marketing, which is a push kind of strategy, getting the content in front of them that will make that will make them aware of you. And then finally, there are certain kinds of automation you can use, and there are certain kinds that LinkedIn is going to really get on you about. So we'll talk about that in future offerings. Next, we have prospecting or lead generation. That's made up of prospecting, which we talked about a little bit earlier, finding those exact people you need. Connecting, that's all about sending personalized invitations that will get responses. And then finally, about nurturing. And that's the piece that happens after they accept your invitation. That's having a messaging sequence that you can use to build a relationship. And just like with connecting, it's going to be personalized. But there are ways to make it go a lot faster. Okay. And then finally, the last stage is conversion. And that's your sales conversation. That's looking at the results of what you've done during this cycle, analyzing them, and then rinsing and repeating. Okay. So you don't always have to go back to square one. All right. So the reason that I'm talking about the lucrative LinkedIn client generator is because that's about attracting high quality leads and converting them to clients. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the actual social selling index. Now, in this one, I had sunk below my usual 82 or 83%. Sometimes I'm up a lot higher than that. But I hadn't been doing something here, and I'm going to point it out to you. Okay, at the very top of this, you're going to see team 1 of 1. That's because I do have 2 virtual assistants, but they don't do my writing and everything. So I'm the only one there. Industry. So in the LinkedIn marketing and sales industry, generally the LinkedIn expertise industry, I'm number 1. I'm at 1%. I'm not number 1. Big difference, but I'm in the top 1%. And then in my network, which is mostly business owners, I'm in the top 3%. But let's break that down, because LinkedIn really, really shows how you're doing here. So you can see that in establishing my professional brand at that time, I had 20 out of 25 possible percentage points. And that was the top percent of my industry. And I really promote my brand, but at that time I was working on a product launch and I wasn't and it was before I had VAs, so I was really struggling, and I wasn't doing as much brand promotion as I could. The second part is finding the right people. And here I was at an 18.29%. I'm pretty good at prospecting, so lots of times that's much higher. But that's all about finding the right people, connecting with them, and getting them to accept the invitations. Okay, that's the piece in there that's really going to count. Okay, and then engaging with insights. Now that's what I was talking about before. That is getting there in there and liking, commenting, and sharing. And you know why? And this is the one, by the way, that almost everyone has their lowest scoring, because it just hasn't been emphasized enough. But you know, obviously you want to do content marketing, but you also want to do those likes, comments, and shares, because that really gets the attention, and that's going to give you a huge boost. And then finally, building relationships, and that's that nurturing part. You want to keep them, this is a terrible image, but you want to keep them on the hook. Okay, you want to keep them on the hook as you're moving them through your sales funnel. And it's not that crass, because I truly believe that the way you move people through a sales funnel is by being helpful and being of service. So it sounds, keeping them on the hook sounds really bad. But in fact, if you don't have a hook, if you don't have a way to get people into your lead generation and sales funnel, then it's not going to work. Okay, so you can look at here. Here, like I said, I'm 1 out of 1. So hey, I'm in the upper 77 out of 100. I'm the only one on the team, so that's a little concerning. Okay, whoops, hold on. Okay, that's a little disconcerting, but I'm at the top. I'm in the 26 out of 100 in my industry, and 49 out of 100 on my network, because I really wasn't doing a lot of that. That fell down during that period. So, it was a good wake-up call for me. Okay, you've got to go back in and work on this. So don't be afraid of the social selling index. Just make changes, and it updates once a week, so you'll be able to check your progress. Okay, we talked a lot about creating a great profile and how important that is, because your profile is absolutely, kind of ground zero of what every strategy you use is directed towards. So no matter what your strategy, whether that's, and we're talking about connection strategies, marketing strategies, social selling strategies, no matter which one of those you're using, it's going to direct people to your profile, because they're going to go, if they're interested, they're going to look at your profile. So it really does have to be perfect. So if you don't have our free LinkedIn profile guide checklist, I will put a link in the bottom of this in the comments section, but you can also just take a screenshot here, because I have a picture of where our LinkedIn lead generator Facebook group is. And I am, as I said, getting off of that, but it's still there right now. There's a link to the essential profile checklist. Invite me to connect on LinkedIn. Let's get to know one another. Or email me. Do you have a question that you want me to know? You can either drop it in the contents, or you can just let me know. Now, there's one other thing that I wanted to tell you, and that is, if you haven't gone through the lucrative LinkedIn challenge in the Facebook group, I'll be broadcasting it not only in the Facebook group, but on my general Facebook page, on YouTube. There will be other opportunities. You don't actually have to join the Facebook group. So the challenge starts on October 25th and goes through October 29th. If you'd like to get an invitation, just drop the comment below or shoot me an email at dumont@dumontowen.com, and I'll make sure you get an invite. This is free, and we are going to address a different piece of that buyer's journey and a different piece of where you need to be in that LinkedIn client generator system every day. So we're going to be talking about your niche. We're going to be talking about how to invite people to connect. You're going to learn how to do the right messaging and right sequences. You're going to learn how to, what's the fourth one? How to create a LinkedIn playbook so that this won't take you very long. Each day you can just cut and paste from the templates you have and then tweak them. It doesn't have to take a long time at all. In fact, my clients who are using this LinkedIn lead, yeah, I'm getting really tongue-tied here, who are using their LinkedIn playbook can do it in 15 minutes a day. It's going to take you a while when you first get it set up, but you can get it down to that, I promise. Now, that doesn't include sales conversations. Obviously, that's going to take you more time in a day. But what better to do than have sales conversations, right? I mean, that's what we all want. We want those clients. And we don't want the wrong clients. We want the clients that are just going to make our hearts sing, right? And a lot of us are coaches and consultants. We really feel good when we provide a service. So that's it for the slide sharing. Hold on, let me. Okay. Okay. We are back. All right. What do we have here? Let me look over. Okay. Yeah. Can't tell who's asking this. But I have found that whenever one person asks a question, the others do too. The challenge is always free. The difference and I have changed the challenge. So if you've taken it in the past, there will be some things that are different this time. One of the things that we'll look at is marketing and how to really market. And we haven't really talked about niche development in the past. So those I have added to it. Like I said, it's always free. We will have the page up for it shortly, so you'll be able to go ahead and sign into it, register for it, and then we'll get started. The way it works is that every morning, starting on October 25th, you're going to get a link to a video and an assignment from me, and then at noon, I will be live again to answer any questions and to give you some pointers. I suggest that for the challenge that you, if you haven't used Sales Navigator in the past, that you sign up for it, because even if you decide against it, you can get in there for 1 month and just really locate and pinpoint all those clients that you really are interested in. And the reason I'm saying that is because when you're in Sales Navigator, there is the opportunity to, once you've identified someone who would be an ideal client for you, you can click on this just one click, and you can generate 100 more people that have the same characteristics of that client. So what's easier than that? One click lead, one click prospect generation. So it's really worth it. It's really worth it. And of course we'll be recording everything. So No more questions. So I'm going to say ta-ta for, wait, let me go back one more time and check because, okay. All right. So that's it. I'll see you in a couple of weeks and with a new topic. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.